All right, next video. Griefing from a PvPer's perspective. The word griefing, the video is from Rivergrit on YouTube. So let's see this one. This has been suggested, people asking me to watch in Twitch chat, all that stuff. So let's see.
Go away! I keep telling you.
He's down.
Did he just say go away?
Yes.
Good enough to kill our friends.
Oh, I've been here for fucking 5 hours.
Let's just get this straight. There's nothing worse than people throwing the G word around.
You goddamn griefer!
From day one,
Oh
I've heard
my
this word being used like
God.
all the time. And I've come to realize the whole community has a different definition of what this word means. So today, let's dissect what's griefing and what's not. And then I'll give you my opinions on the matter, so be prepared to be triggered. In the PU, we've come to realize that the most common use of the word griefing comes from someone who actively kills someone with like no reason at all. So for example, killing someone when you have nothing to gain, or you know, they had no cargo, or they had no intention to fight but you kill them anyway. But that definition is completely false.
Okay.
Alright, let's just squash this right here because it's a sandbox and I'm going to explain why. But honestly, SaltEMike put it really well in one of the videos that I actually liked from him.
That's the thing. You can't claim in one of the videos I actually liked, which means 99% of the videos you hate. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Star Citizen is this wonderful, great sandbox because I'm sure people defend it on this end all the time. And then when you get sand thrown on you, then it's all of a sudden, is this ethical? Did you have a reason to do that?
Yo, he's got a point. I mean, honestly. So whether you like it or not, I mean, it's a sandbox and someone's bound to throw sand on you.
The most
All right, hold up.
backhanded
Let me get this
compliment.
off my chest. Players need to know what they're getting into before downloading this game. If you're looking to solo grind, you're more than welcome to, but don't complain when someone ruins your immersion and kills you for absolutely no reason, because it can happen. And they don't need a reason either. You're not immune to PvP just because you stand up on a soapbox in global chat and tell everybody you're a medic. Listen, there's always gonna be piracy, assholes, and people like us that just want to salt farm. I mean, that's the best part about this game. You're free to play as you want. And if you didn't
Yo, what was with the cut there? That was
have the
interesting.
threat of someone potentially killing you, then the game would just be ass. It would be terrible.
I mean, I think this is a perspective issue, though. The game would be terrible for who? The game would be terrible for you, right? The thing is like, my argument always is the people who are absolutely losing their minds by being killed by players like Rivergrit here are the types of players that have no intentions of playing an MMO or playing a multiplayer game with this kind of experience. They didn't get into it because of that. They got into it because of pretty videos from Morphologists or Board Gamer or something, or RP or whatever, right? And this is why I consistently argue that there needs to be a place for the people who don't understand or don't want to partake in this whatsoever. Like zero. What I mean, like zero. They just want to play solo. They don't want to be bothered. They want to watch, episodes of The Mandalorian on their main monitor while playing this on their second monitor, kind of thing. But the average player, who I think is not playing Star Citizen, is the one that's somewhere in the middle that understands it's a multiplayer game. There's going to be risk. There's going to be reward. There's going to be places where I can play. There's going to be places where I can't play, right? Like, it's just, they're going to kind of understand the aspects of that. I'm going to have to, make friends to be able to go to this really dangerous area when the game is done. But I still can't argue that the game would be completely horrendous if we weren't just allowed to kill people everywhere, right? Because I think that's sort of the point that Rivergrit's making. Maybe I should go back and listen again, just a little bit.
And if you didn't have the threat of someone potentially killing you, then the game would just be ass. It would be terrible.
Right? Only if the juice was worth the squeeze, I think, would be my argument here. Is, I think safe zones like Albion, blue zones like Albion, and then you have your yellow, your red, and your black, right? Like, that's what Albion, I think, does very well. as you're entering those zones, you know exactly what you're getting into. Paranoia is a great thing to have in a video game because if you're a solo player and you make it through a yellow or a red zone safely, it's exciting, right? Something like that. But to have no blue zones also makes the game ass, right? And that's the issue that I have.
Terrible. The definition of
And a blue zone is not an armistice zone where you can just hang out in this tiny little area and not get killed. I mean a place where you could mine, refine, salvage, run missions, and run cargo, all with very little risk of having a PvP encounter happen to you. But there should be incredibly low reward, like none. Like the only things that you mine would be like iron or like the lowest level stuff. The only things that you would be able to salvage would be like tiny ships or something, right? With almost no hull on them, something like that. But they would still get to experience the game and they would still get to play the game the way they wanted to without dealing with the issues. But it would leave so much to be desired that they would want to take the risk and go to that next level. And then the game becomes ask when there's no fear involved.
briefing's pretty simple. It's like four things. It's pad ramming, it's stream sniping, it's targeting another single player or group in an effort to thwart singular progression, and it's utilizing exploits or cheats to gain an unfair advantage.
I agree with that.
It's that simple. Anything else is free game. But let's dive in and take a look at each one of those because I'm sure there's some info there that you might not know about. All right, pad rammers. We all hate pad rammers. Even people like me who just kill everybody they see in the PU hate pad rammers. It just shows that you have no skill and the only way you can effectively kill someone is through a pad ram. Because God forbid they exit the hangar and you have to showcase some skills to actually kill the person. However, CIG clearly states that pad ramming only refers to ramming a ship that's on a pad that can spawn vehicles. So the key word here is a pad that can spawn vehicles. The reason I'm saying that is a lot of people think pad ramming on mining outpost pads are bannable, but they're really not. It's not even against TOS. It's the Platinum Bay pads that are. So that's it.
I mean, I think we're using a little bit of a technicality here, though, still. I still think it's asked to do it on any pad.
Mining outpost pads are actually free game, but we all know it's a cuck move and it actually lowers your credit score, so I wouldn't do it. Alright, stream sniping. Honestly, this should be a given. I don't think I really need to cover this one. However, it doesn't mean you can't kill a streamer or a content creator or something like that. I mean, for example, I have Blasphemous on my friends list, and whenever me and the Pax boys run into him naturally in game, and they're doing JT or something, which be sure we're gonna fight. We never go after him because they're streaming or anything like that, but hell, if I see you on the server and you're a streamer, be sure as shit, I'm probably going to try to kill you. Targeting a player or a group. So, speaking of Blasphemous, I heard he had some issues with this a little bit ago, where he would just have people who constantly would try to kill him, and they'd hop servers and stuff like that. I hate that shit. If you're following someone's server to kill them repetitively, that's not cool. And skill
that's
or not, it's kind of an ass move. But sitting outside a Grim and killing everybody that comes through, that's free game, man. That's not excessive killing or anything like that. You're just killing, dude. They have the right to go to another server if they want. I think the last piece that I tack on there is like hitting people up IRL or something like that and like spamming them with bullshit. That's not cool either. The next one's kind of weird. I haven't seen much of it. I've only seen a few instances where this happens. It's exploits, and exploits suck. Now, I'm not talking about like weird exploits that the game allows for, like putting scimitars on ions and infernos and stuff like that, when it only takes 50 meters to, target someone and pretty much one-tap them. I'm talking about exploits like, you're glitching yourself into a rock and shooting people, but they can't shoot back. Or, like, you're glitching through walls at JT and, like, sneak in it or something like that. I think that's cheesy, and you honestly suck at the game if you're doing it that way. I see all these PvE lords on Reddit or YouTube and stuff like that crying, oh, you should do something to, dial back the griefers or stuff like that. It's not going to happen. The game allows for death, and most of us all have alts that we keep in prison to send merits to our main anyway, so higher prison times aren't even going to work. Some of us, we just don't kill for the Alpha UEC. We kill for the salt. We don't care about the money. We don't care about the rep. Not to mention, I've
never seen anybody make a YouTube video saying that they kill just to kill. Like, I think saying killing for the salt is a weird way to say it, but I've come across players in my experiences in other MMOs where they just kill players. This is one of those players, and to think that these players don't exist is just ignorant and stupid. Like, people just find it fun to kill other players. It is what it is. And to call it toxic or to call it anything, you're just as toxic. Players are playing a video game in the way that they want to play it, how they want to play it. The game allows it to happen, and that's it. Right? It is what it is. Like, also, the fact that the game has zero progression, nothing to do. Most players are probably doing this purely out of boredom. They probably didn't get into Star Citizen necessarily to specifically do this. But what else are you going to do? Like,
You in global chat having a complete meltdown.
And now they find it fun, and this is what they're doing.
What blows my mind is the amount of salt and toxicity the PvE community has. They're the most toxic community in Star Citizen. When in all reality, what people don't realize is the most positive, uplifting, and friendliest group of Star Citizen players are the PvP community. It's a small group, and everybody knows each other. I mean, there's only a handful of top-tier PvP orgs in the game, and they have all the best pilots and PvP players. I mean, AVS, Black Fleet, Ramming Department, Pax Mortis, LR, just to name a few. However, the majority of them are pretty small, and they're all in-house. I mean, you'll catch them in AC all the time, but when they're in the PU, some of them run blue and bounty hunt, but then there's the ones that run red, too. Like I said, these guys pretty much all know each other, and they fight each other in AC and in the PU all the time. However, the majority of them get the most satisfaction from giving other players tips and advice to help them get better. I mean, they want others to share in the same joy that they find competitively fighting in the game. In conclusion, this is a sandbox. So let's be real, I have my game loop and you have yours. And honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, I would have nothing to do in the PU. And if it wasn't for me, you'd have a no-skill game to play. But don't call me a griefer just because I kill everybody I see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Rivergrit, and if you see me in the verse, then GG's in advance.
I don't know. I don't really. It's hard to disagree with anything that he's saying because, it just comes from the point of view of, game's a sandbox. Like, what do you want? But I think both sides are toxic, telling people how they should feel. Right? Ridiculous. The idea of the PvE players expecting to be able to just have to be left alone and not being able to do whatever they want to do. I mean, just, dude, you bought into a multiplayer game. Like, what did you expect? And then the other idea, what is with you on the chair today? The other idea is that PvE players are supposed to bow down to PvP players because and that everything should have risk, and there should always be risk everywhere. Everywhere you go, you should be looking over your shoulder like they're, and I just don't agree with that either. Like, there just needs to be places that you can go and that you can learn the game and that you can teach other people the game, or you can relax and you can just hang out and you can experience the good views, the way the game looks in Star Citizen somewhere. And I think eventually we're going to get there. I don't know when or where or what that will look like. But the idea of there being like a haven in Star Citizen, I can't hammer this idea home enough. That has to exist, period. It just has to. So, that's where I'm at with that one. The extremes on both sides, I think, are just toxic. And I just can't. The game has to have a place for both people, and it has to be kind of an agreed upon, like, very clear, as the casual player or the PvE player, I signed up for coming to this area where I was going to get dunked on. And if I survived, I survived. If I didn't, I didn't. And the other aspect would be, if I can't go to this place and kill every player here in this area, because that would make the game bad for everyone, right? And that's just where I'm at. There needs to be a good middle ground, but the middle ground needs to be the largest part of the game. Basically a stand system. Some places are safe, most aren't. And then you have your just like pyro, everything is lawless and it's crazy, you know? But that's where the best stuff needs to be. Players need to be drawn out by that. It's just the things that PvE players say, the things that PvP players say. Both of them are toxic on both ends. Tired of hearing about it. Tired of the conversation. I don't even think it's a conversation that needs to be had by the community anymore. It just needs to be developed by the company, and that's it. Like, it doesn't need to be a conversation. It needs to be clear and present boundaries that are made by the game, and that's it. End of story.